वर्णिवेशरमणीयदर्शनं मन्दहासरुचिरादननाम्बुजं पूजितं सुरनरोत्तमैर्मुदा धर्मनन्दनमहं विचिन्तये। प्रभु तव मूर्ति विनोदकारी, पलपन विसरे नहीं जो विसारी। जुगल चरण सोड़ चिन्ह जेह, नजर समीपे रहो अमारी एह। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः, गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोलो श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय। श्री ठाकुर जी महाराजनी जय। श्री हरि कृष्ण महाराजनी जय। श्री घनश्याम महाराजनी जय। श्री सद्गुरु देवनी जय। श्री 500 परमहंसनी जय। Supreme Almighty, our beloved Thakurji Maharaj, all of the Sadgurus from our divine Muktanandiya Parampara, Pathway to Liberation Pujyapat Guruji, all divine Muktos of Loyadham Parivar, all of you devotees, Jai Swaminarayan. Today's topic is traction and distraction in the mind of devotees. Many times we use the dictionary forgetting the meaning of some words. So traction and distraction, both of these words, we can learn the meaning from the dictionary. And most of you probably know the meaning, what is traction and what is distraction. But how these both things affect in our spiritual life as well as our day-to-day life, let we see through these different slides. Next, thoughts govern the actions. We know our thoughts always give us the force to do something. Our thoughts sometimes stop us to do something. In this way, our thoughts govern our actions. Whatever we perform, whatever we act, first that happen in the form of thoughts in our mind. Without first coming into our mind, nothing will happen outside. So physically whatever we are doing, first that happen in our mind. Per the American Psychological Association Dictionary of Psychology, distraction is the process of interrupting attention and a stimulus or task that draws attention away from the task of primary interest. This is what the definition according to what we need to understand. The process of interrupting attention. Here, the distraction means not only the distraction for performing any activity, but also the attention. Just as we are paying attention for listening katha, that's not our physical any activity. While performing other physical activity, we can also listen the katha. But what about our attention? Sometimes the students attend their classes in schools and colleges, but not all the time they have fully attention for what they are learning. That is called distraction. Here in this slide we can also see the three things: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. These three types of qualities we are going to learn today about these three qualities. Why? Because it has they have the direct concern with the distraction and traction. So before going further, let me see what is traction and distraction in the next slide. Traction and distraction. So tractions are actions done with intent. Traction is doing what you say you will do, meaning what you want to do, and if you perform the same thing, that is called your action, traction. On the other hand, the opposite of distraction is traction. Traction is any action that moves us towards what we really want, and distraction meaning actions that move us away from what we really want. Both are called as action. Just as sometimes we discriminate between like good action or bad action, in the same way here distraction and traction. Traction meaning what you want to do. If you do whatever needed for achieving your goal, that is your traction. On the other hand, if your mind distract you to, if suppose you have a goal to achieve more and more score in your SAT or ACT, then for that definitely you need to do hard work. You need to pay more attention for the study. If you are studying very well, you are doing very hard work for studying and learning, that is called traction. But suppose you are studying, you need to do more study and more learning, and at the same time, if suppose you think for watching a movie, you think for using some social medias, not for studying or learning, but only for passing the time or doing some like just for your enjoyment, that is called distraction. But as according to the definition we learned in the second slide, distraction meaning when something happened to your attention. So we need to learn this thing for our spiritual life, for your daily life, because you are, as a student, you are learning, you need to study. As a worker, you need to pay attention for your work, for your job. As a businessman, you need to focus on your set goal to achieve more and more business, more and more profit, more and more reputation. So for all of these things, we need to pay attention. We need also to achieve our ultimate goal, to get ultimate liberation. And also for that, we need a perfect and precise attention on our goal. So in short, whenever we are going further, or whenever we are doing anything else which is not suitable to achieving our goal, that is called distraction. And whatever we are doing to achieve our goal, that is called traction. Let me see in the Vachanamrut what Maharaj says in the next slide. Here in the Vachanamrut Grada, first 58 chapter, our Adi Gurudev Swami Shri had asked on behalf of us, when a devotee of God engages in worship and remembrance of God, he is disturbed by the forces of Rajogun and Tamogun in his heart. As a result, he is unable to experience the bliss of worship and remembrance. So how can the force of those guns be overcome? The same thing happens just as you are studying and your mind distracts you from your study, from your reading, and your mind torture you to please see the phone, please check your emails, check the taxes. In the same way, our mind also disturbs us while we are worshipping God, while we are engaging in worshipping or remembrance or to pray Maharaj. Sometimes those devotees who are habituated to perform Mansi Puja, and most of you, I know, while performing puja, in the beginning of the puja, after performing Tilak Chanlo and Tilak Chanlo, you also perform the Mansi Puja. So at that time, sometimes you are peacefully performed that Mansi Puja. On the other hand, sometimes, due to many different reasons, but sometimes you feel like you have different thoughts while performing Mansi Puja. Just as you close your eyes, and at the same time, before you try to remember the form of God, many thoughts attack on your mind. Some thoughts related to Rajogun, some thoughts related to Tamagun. So what is Rajogun, what is Tamagun, and what is Sattvagun? That is three qualities. We earlier just read the name. So Rajogun, Tamagun and Sattvagun. There is three prominent qualities always resides in every human being. So definitely as a devotee, but before we are devotee, we are a human being. So definitely these all three qualities also resides in our own lives. Now, first of all, forget all other things, whether Rajogun, Tamagun or Sattvagun. But first and foremost, we need to study on our own self. First, as Swami Shri had asked here, when a devotee of God engages in worship and remembrance of God, he is disturbed by the forces of Rajogun and Tamagun in his heart. As a result, he is unable to experience the bliss of worship and remembrance. So how can the force of those gunas be overcome? First and foremost, the question we should ask to our own self. Whenever I engage myself for remembrance and worshipping God, at that time, my attention remains fully on the form of God, on my remembrance of God, or my worshipping God, or it distracts on some other things, other thoughts, other persons. We should first ask this question to our own self. So first and foremost, we should recognize what is the fault. Is actually the fault is there or not? If there is the fault, then let we find what is the cause of that fault. What is that fault itself? Now we are disturbed while performing Mansi Puja. So now it is our duty to find out what is the fault. Why I am disturbed by the other thoughts? Why the other disturbing thoughts come into my mind while I am performing Mansi Puja, or why I am performing the pujan or remembrance of God, or even performing any spiritual activities? After getting this, our answer still remain. What is the disturbing thoughts, or why those thoughts happen to my mind? And what is the root causes of those disturbing thoughts? That's the question. Everyone should introspect on this point. And as we introspect, then Not every thoughts we can capture, we can count, we can focus on those thoughts. But out of thousands different thoughts, we can merely recognize 2, 3, 4 different thoughts. Those disturb our mind. And moreover, sometimes what happens, when we recognize those disturbing thoughts, like this is the real disturbing thoughts for me, so at the time we can be able to overcome those disturbing thoughts. Now let me see what is the 3 types of different gunas in next slide. Yes, here is the 3 different colors and 3 different qualities which always prevail in all of human beings. First one is sattva guna, which has a clear or a transparent or a white color. Sattva, it has different qualities: balance, harmony, positive, peace, clarity, light, creativity, openness, intelligence, so and so more. Like sattva meaning we have a different virtues which always come out in our mind. So always we try to focus on the form of God while worshipping or while chanting. When we are not performing any spiritual activities or worshipping or remembrance of God, at the time when we have sattva in predominant in our mind, at the time our mind always try to focus on studying, learning, reading, in this way different qualities, in different things. On the other hand, when we see the rajas meaning rajogun, it has a red color. It always has a different qualities from the sattva gun. It has a different qualities like movement, activity, energy, excitement, passion, desire, agitation, anxiety, egotism, and such kind of different qualities, while the rajogun predominate in one's mind. So whenever we have a rajogun predominant in our mind, at that time our mind is try to do some activities, some like vigorously engage in some action. We have some force inside, like it says, it forces us to do something. Sometimes we have seen some people who have, even without any reason, they are doing this work and that work. Sometimes they have some excitement without any reason. Why? Because they have rajogun predominant in their mind. Sometimes you may have seen while you are in the school or college, either on your workplace or your business place, you may have seen some people without having any particular reason, they are eager to do something. Whether they got some profit or losses, that doesn't matter, but they want to do something. Sometimes in school or while you are in the sport, at the time some people, they always try to do something. They always try to become like something, meaning greater than the others. So this is what all qualities of rajogun. So whenever rajogun prevails in one's mind, at the time, even though a devotee who is performing pujan or chanting or worshipping God, so at the time his mind remains disturbed. Why? Because performing pujan, worshipping or chanting God's holy name, that was the quality of like mostly happen in whenever sattvagun prevails in one's mind. On the other hand, we have Rajogun in mind, so at the time we do not like those things to do, and that's why our mind forces us to do something else. Our mind tells us to do, let's go for watching movie. Our mind tells us like, this is enough. You have spent enough time for worshipping and chanting of God, holy name. Now it's time to play some video games. In this way, our Rajogun, whenever Rajogun prevails in our mind, so such kind of thoughts arise in our mind. Moreover, whenever you are not performing any religious activity or worshipping God or something like that, on the other hand, whenever you are studying, you are very busy for reading a book for your school or classes, you are preparing for SAT or SET. So at that time, if you have a Rajogun predominant in your mind, so your mind disturbed. Your mind focus on, let's go, I'm bored, let's go to play with my friends, let's go to watch some videos. In this way, your mind disturbed due to Rajogun. On the other hand, let us see what is the qualities of Tamagun. Whenever Tamagun prevails in our mind or heart, at the time, inertia, inactivity, negativity, apathy, dullness, dark, delusion, depression, ignorance. So this is what all of these qualities like laziness, all these qualities of Tamagun. And whenever Tamagun prevails in our mind, whether you are studying or worshipping God, you always think like, let's go to sleep. Okay, I have do this thing for more time, so let's go to do another thing. I become bored. So in this way, whenever we become bored, then at that time Tamagun prevails in our mind. Whenever we think for negativity, that is a quality of Tamagun. Whenever any like dullness or delusion prevails in our mind, that's also the quality of Tamagun. It has Tamagun's color is dark, meaning a black. So whenever Tamagun prevails in one's mind, its mind totally become dark. He could not see what is true, what is false. He could not make any sense like that. And that's why delusion or illusion or ignorance or depression arise in one's mind. Because in darkness, just as suppose there is totally darkness in your room and you are not inside the room, but you are outside of your room, and if there is total darkness, no window or nothing of the room, and if you open the door, can you see anything? No. Why? Because there is no light. Everything is there is nothing besides darkness. In the same way, whenever Tamagun prevails in our mind, we cannot see anything. We cannot see our future. We cannot see our goal. We cannot focus on what we are doing. We are not doing anything in the Tamagun. And that's why we need to first overcome the forces of Rajogun and Tamagun. If we can be able to overcome these two different qualities, Rajogun and Tamagun, then we can maintain constant Sattvagun. And if we maintain qualities of Sattvagun for more and more time, then at that time we can focus with a full attention on our goal. Either your personal life goal or your spiritual life goal, but we can be able to pay full attention for that. Otherwise, due to Rajogun and Tamagun, we cannot fully pay attention for our goal, and due to that, our speed to reach our goal definitely become slower and slower due to this disturbance. Just as you are going on a smooth highways without traffic, you can drive your car more than 100 mile per hour speed. On the other hand, if you have a not smooth road, and on the other hand, like countryside road, and like you even not proper black top of the road, and you have only like some dent and something like stone and other things on the road, so definitely your speed become slow. In the same way, Sattvagun is like a highway, and when Rajogun and Tamagun prevails in our heart, that's become a countryside road. We cannot go faster. So, due to all this reason, we need to overcome these two forces of Rajogun and Tamagun. Now, let we see the reason for prevailing these three guns in our heart or in our mind. First, due to body. Second, due to company. Third one is due to our past sanskars. So, first and foremost, the reason why these three qualities prevail due to the body, company, and definitely due to our past birth. So to understand this thing, we need to understand all these topics in detail. But before that, let me see the two ways of distraction in next slide. Two ways of distractions. First one, on the north side, internal triggers. On the south side, external triggers. Distraction and traction on both sides. Now, this is what our mind situation. Sometimes we found some distraction while studying, while learning, while working on your workplace, while doing any of the work which is your duty, or you are performing any spiritual activities, satsang related any activities like bhajan, mansi puja, whatever. So at the time, these two ways when distraction enter our mind. First one, external triggers. Suppose you have good qualities, like you have nothing in your mind. Your mind is empty. You are not intended to do some good work or some bad work. You are just after coming from your classes. You are entering your room. You put your backpack aside, your laptop and everything aside. You put on the other side your wallet, your keys of the car. Now, you have seen a 75 inches television in your room, and someone is watching something in the TV. So at the time, there is nothing in your mind. Sometimes what happens, you have thought you are going to take a shower, and after becoming fresh, you want to perform some chanting or read some satsang book or even complete your homework. On the other hand, whenever you have seen someone who is watching television, and at the same time, your mind also change immediately. Your mind force you to not go to read, not go to perform any other activity, and at the same time you also sit in front of the TV. That is called external triggers. It's not come from inside, it's come from outside. That is called external triggers. Sometimes you are performing your mansi puja, your phone you forgot to switch off or silent mode, and because of that, after 1 or 2 minutes passed and beep, again after 5 seconds beep, so your mind automatically thinking, who had sent me text? Oh, my so and so friend, he's always giving me text, let me see. So even though while you are performing mansi puja, you are thinking for God, you are distracted and you immediately forgetting bhagwan, you automatically thinking for your friends. So this is what external triggers. If the beep is not heard, then you will not be distracted. So this is what external triggers. Now internal triggers. Sometimes you have done so many works for the whole day. Now you want to do some mara at night, but you become very tired. So definitely internal triggers work in your mind, and because of that, what is internal trigger? Your mind says, I'm lazy, let me go to sleep. And even though you are forced to do mara at that time, you definitely dozing, and finally after 5 or 10 minutes you put your mara aside and definitely go to sleep. This is called internal triggers. So let we see the 3 factors affect our mind, affect our heart. First, the body. In the next slide, please. The body. Here, emojis. There are so many emojis because you all, while texting to each other, you are using this too much. Different mood at different time does not allow you to engage in worshipping and remembrance of God. Sometimes you are happy, sometimes you are angry, sometimes you are nervous, jealous, excited, distressed, disgusted, scared, cry, loving, silly, confused, shy, tired, disappointed, sick. There are so many different moods. Whenever these different moods arise, there is also the fruits of different gunas. So at the time we cannot perform either a spiritual activity or your social activities like that of your studying, your working, your business, etc. So this prevail due to the factor of the body. If this happen due to body, meaning sometimes after performing hard work, you definitely become tired. Sometimes someone has insulted you. So at the time, you either become angry or become disappointed. Sometimes you have more workload. At the time, if you are not able to perform all those work, then you definitely become disturbed due to those workload, and you definitely happen to become like nervous or distressed. So in this way, due to the body, we have a different modes at different times. And think, suppose you are angry, then can you read anything for your SAT or SCT? No. Can you do your homework at the time when you are nervous or whenever you are angry upon someone? Definitely not. Whenever you are disappointed, can you do some work for your job or something? Even though you have to do, you are doing, but not with your full attention. This is called distraction. In the same way, while in these all different situations in our life, in our in our daily modes, we cannot perform even Mansi Puja or worshipping God properly, meaning with full attention. That is called distraction in spiritual life. So now, what we can do so that our all these moods did not disturb to our spiritual life? For that, first and foremost, let we see while these different moods prevail in our mind. In the next slide, what are the reasons of prevailing the different moods? Not every time the inner factors triggers for Rajagun and Tamagun, meaning in different modes. But sometimes the external factors also triggers and become a reason for our different moods, such as your phone. I have given the example before. Your Xbox. Just after finishing your game time, and that's the time of worshipping, or after that it's a time to read your study books. Can you fully focus on reading? Definitely not. Why? Because you are just coming out of playing the games. So definitely some thoughts, some images, what you have seen in front of your eyes with full attention, because while playing the game, your all the attention focused on one thing, to win. And in the same way, whenever you are either reading, studying, or performing any spiritual activities, satsang related activities, so at that time you definitely, all of those scenes come in front of your eyes. They did not allow you to worship God properly. They did not allow you to pay full attention for your study or to perform your homework. Another way is social media. This is also most disturbing factors for all of us, for your spiritual life as well as your social life. Social media is always like all of those different things like YouTube, Facebooks, Twitters, WhatsApps, everything, like all those things, how they affect our day-to-day life. Some of people's time consumed by these social media factors. Someone has put a message, immediately you are also going to read it or reply it. Someone has posted some picture or some video on a social media platform, immediately you also wanted to watch it, and after watching you also intended to comment on it. Or sometimes you also put your own videos on the social media platforms. And while using social media in this way, you wasted most of the time of your life. And in this way, this become a reason for prevailing a tamagun in one's mind. First, it has a quality of rajagun, but finally it has a result of tamagun, meaning laziness, negativity, and ignorance, meaning total darkness. This is what the result of all of these three things. So the guns that arise due to the body are overcome by reflecting upon the Atma and the non-Atma. So whenever we are thinking these all things are temporary, they are not give me any benefit things in my life. If I replied my friends right now, so that will break my attention for my performing my homework or worshipping God. Instead of that, after finishing my homework, I can also give him a reply. Or after finishing my chanting or after finishing my puja, I can check my text or emails and can reply. So in this way, whenever we limiting our uses of phone, Xboxes, social medias, then and then we can be able to focus our mind with full attention for worshipping God, for your study, for your work, for your job, for your duties. So we need to do this thing. And the second factor we can see in the next slide. The gunas that have arisen due to bad company are eradicated by keeping the company of a sadhu. Second point is all these three gunas prevailing mind of devotees, that is due to bad company. Sometimes a devotee who is not intended to engage in like bad company, but still sometimes some environment, some social environment was like that, one definitely one definitely become disturbed while performing worshipping of God or performing any of their study or job work or something like that. Why? Suppose you do not want to engage in any such bad habits on any other things, but suppose you are in a college life. So some of your friends, some of not even the friends, but some of well-wishers, actually they were not the well-wishers, but in the form of well-wishers they come to your life to disturb your social and spiritual life. So some of your friends, they come to you and they said, okay, let's go to the party. This guy, he had his birthday on next Saturday, and because of that he had given a party. So let's go there and enjoy. You said, no, I do not want to come. They said, no, why? You said, no, I have to do my homework and I have to study well. I have to go here and there. And in this way, you are giving your arguments and they are intended, please come with us. The next day, again they said, oh, let's go. Why are you not coming with us? We are enjoying such kind of things every time whenever he has his birthday party. So why you are not coming? You say, no, I don't want to come. But they say, why? You said, I have my homework. Then they said, we all have a homework to do. We have all of the days. We have all of the time. We have party for 2 hours, not more than that. In this way, they are giving arguments to you, and you also giving your argument, your reason why you are not going to attend the party. So finally, you either become agreed with them, and if you enjoy the party, you are definitely distract from your path of satsang, path of your good behavior. So in this way, whenever you these gunas happen to your life due to bad company, because you are originally not intended to engage yourself in the party culture, but because of bad company you are engaged, and that's why to engage in the party enjoyments, all these qualities of rajogun that prevail only because of bad company. Now how you can overcome those? Only and only keeping the company of a sadhu. Next, unfavorable sanskar of the past, the third reason while we have these all disturbing thoughts in our mind. If the extremely great Purus becomes pleased, then unfavorable sanskars are all destroyed. A beggar can become a king. For example, Mangal Sri Diwan of Vadodara. Because of Gopalanand Swami become pleased upon him, and Swami blessed him, and even though he was like a beggar, he become a prominent officer of the king of Gaikwad. Unfavorable prarabdha becomes favorable. For example, Bavlo of Junagadh. Gunaditanand Swami become pleased upon him, and Bavla's future, or we can say prarabdha, automatically change. Even though he was passing his life by cutting woods and selling to the people, so instead of that, he also become a prominent officer in the kingdom, and in this way his life, his prarabdha totally become changed. And fourth one is disastrous or misfortune he is to face, it is avoided. Example, Krishnanam Shastri of Vadodara. Whenever the debate happened in the court of Gaikwad Sarkar in Vadodara, like some Sanskrit scholars, they said there will be eclipse on after so and so days. On the other hand, Krishnanam Shastri, he said no, there will be no any eclipse on that particular day. So in this way, that debate happened, and finally the king announced, not the king, but Krishnanam Shastri, he himself. On the other hand, there were the many other scholars. So Krishnanam said, if I will be wrong, cut off my head. And on the other side, the scholars, the many other scholars, they said, if we will become wrong, then please cut off our heads. In this way, this debate happened, and when Krishnanam returned to home, he calculated then there will be the eclipse on that particular day. So he immediately went to Gopalanand Swami. He was there in the city, and he revealed his thoughts, whatever he had done at the courtyard of Gaikwad. So Swami said, don't worry about anything. Nothing will happen to you. You are a devotee of God, so nothing would happen to you. I'm pleased because of your devotion, your loyalty for Bhagwan. So do not worry about anything. Even though there will be eclipse happen in the sky, still it would not be visible in this state of Gaikwad. And that happened. So disastrous misfortune he is to face, it is avoided. This all thing happen due to if the extremely great Purus become placed upon someone. So let we try. First thing, to overcome like Rajogun and Tamagun due to the body and due to kusang, meaning bad company, that's on our part. And on the other hand, even though we have tried completely by heart to prevail our Rajogun and Tamagun by our body and bad company factors, and still we are becoming disturbed in our mind while performing worshipping of God or while performing our duties. So at that time, this third factor, unfavorable sanskar of the past, work there, and we can only remove this third factor only and only with the help of Satpurus like that of Pujya Guruji. If he become pleased upon us, we will become very free. We will become like a king in the field of worshipping God, meaning we do not have any disturbing thoughts remain in our mind if the extremely great Purus become pleased upon us. So let we try to please not only Bhagwan but also the Ekantik Satpurus like that of Pujya Guruji. Also let me pray to Maharaj, all of our Sadgurus and Pujya Guruji, so that they can provide us all kind of different materials to strengthen our spirituality, our satsang, and because of that we can make our Satpurus extremely pleased. And because of that, we can be able to overcome all of these forces of Rajogun and Tamagun from our mind for forever. By saying this, my humble Jai Swaminarayan. Sri Thakur Ji Maharajani Jai, Sri Patim Sri Dharam Sarvadeveshwaram Bhaktidhar Matmajam Vasudevam Harim Madhavam Keshavam Kamadam Karanam Swaminarayanam Neelakantham Bhaje. Sri Ghanshyamprakashdasji Jai.